Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach at Live, Love, Give, and today I wanted to bring a special message as always to you guys, and it's an interesting one, and it's one that is all talking into selfishness and when selfishness actually serves. So it's an exciting one, and just wanted to say thanks for joining me, Yvette and Moises and Elliot. Nice to have you guys back again. I love when you join me, and I hope that today's message really serves you guys out there, because so many of us are so tapped in to what I refer to as our greatest strength, but also our greatest weakness. And what that is our ability to tap into the feelings and emotions of other people, and in particular, how our actions impact those people closest to us. And why I say that that's our greatest strength and our greatest weakness comes from personal experience, definitely. And why that is because we can so easily filter our lives through the people around us, tapping into exactly what they want, filtering what we do in a way that comes out that's going to be pleasing to other people, that's going to make them happy. And it comes from this beautiful intention and this beautiful place of wanting to make others happy, being happy to make others happy. But ultimately, it is our greatest weakness when we let that come over and above our truth, and we make our decisions by filtering out that voice, that inner truth and knowing, through the feelings and emotions and our perception of the impact that decision is going to have on the people closest to us. And this plays out particularly in relationship. This is where I'm seeing it come up time and time again. And that's what I wanted to sort of talk into a bit more with you guys today. But before I keep going, as always, I love just saying hi to you guys. So who have I got here? And Moyne, thank you for joining me, and James and Judy and Rob. Oh, so awesome to have you on live with me today. I love it. And Gary and Donnie, thank you so much, and so good. And Patel and Craig and Adam and Nia and Rondi. Awesome to have you guys live with me today. I absolutely love getting to chat with you guys and getting to interact with you guys, so I'm not just talking to a brick wall or something. So definitely drop any of your questions or comments in the comment section today. Hey Lisa and hey Jamie, awesome to have you. And Muritesh, nice to have you. And ultimately, that's what I really want to talk into more with you guys today, because us feelers out there, you know, the people who so easily, it comes so naturally for us to be able to tap into the emotions and the emotional impact our decisions make on the people closest to us, we can so get caught in this loop with best intentions of wanting nothing more than to make the people around us happy, content. But sometimes, and often actually, it can be at the expense of our own truth, and it takes a lot of courage to step out and step in alignment with what we know to be right. And I had an amazing coaching session this morning with a superstar client, and they were battling some of this, and they were battling in terms of leaving a relationship behind that they knew at their core wasn't for them. Something just wasn't adding up, and they were very open and honest and courageous enough to own it, take responsibility for the fact that they just weren't able to give that other person what that other person really wanted. And what was kind of keeping them stuck was this feeling of guilt that they were hurting this other person, and not kind of being in limbo in what to do at this end of or breakdown of this relationship. Do you cut all ties, or do you sort of try and nurture and build that friendship? And you know, ultimately, we know what the right thing to do is at our core. And it is our filtering process through other people's emotions that often keeps us stuck in these scenarios where we don't feel good, where it's not adding up, where there's more hurt. It's kind of doing more damage than it is good. but we have best intentions, and because we're so attuned to how sad the other person is, how hurt they are, we sort of put ourselves out, we put our truth to the sidelines whilst we try and somehow make this person feel better or do what we think is the right thing to do, and we feel guilty about the hurt that we've created. But what I want to say to you, beautiful human beings out there who have this experience, well, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a job or a career that you just don't feel like you can leave, you don't want to let people down, all of this sort of stuff that we filter our life through, filter our truth through, ultimately keeps us stuck. And what I want to say to you guys out there is to trust yourself. Instead of putting yourself in this state of, with best intentions, oh, I just want them to be happy, I feel guilty, I feel bad, recognize how selfish that is for you to be, staying stuck or keeping in that loop when you know it's not your truth. Maybe you're staying in that relationship. Maybe you're staying in that job that you hate and that you want to leave because you're filtering it through these other people. And ultimately, if it's your relationship, recognize that if you know at your core that you cannot provide this person the depth of love and connection that each and every one of us deserves to have, then you're being selfish. You're focused so much on your own fears of what that's going to mean about you if you hurt them, that you're keeping that other person stuck, and you're preventing them from going out, having the freedom to meet another person who can give them exactly what they need and deserve. So, being selfish is a double-edged sword. You need to be selfish enough to trust in your own truth and follow through with that, despite the repercussions, despite the hurt feelings that may arise in other people. And also, you need to stop being so selfish in trying to be the good guy or the good girl at the expense of your truth. And I know you have best intentions, but you've got to wake up. You've got to see that you're being selfish, you're being self-centered, and what you ultimately need to do is get outside of yourself, take a meta perspective of the relationship, of the situation, and value that person enough to be able to have the courage to deal with the hurt right now for a long-term success for both of you and that freedom for both of you. And at the end of the day, it's been my experience that when we don't listen to that inner truth, that inner knowing, and we don't tap into that and align with the right thing to do that we really ultimately know, we start losing trust and belief in ourselves, and that is so detrimental to reaching our highest potential. So unblock yourself, unblock them, unblock yourself, and open yourself up to the possibilities. Open yourself up to new love, new levels of potential, new experiences. And that is my firm belief that is the best way to move forward, move on out, start aligning with the truth of who you are and give them the freedom to discover, the truth of who they are, and ultimately, if it's a relationship, somebody else who's going to give them what they really deserve. So again, I hope this message is resonating with you guys out there. Is it in your life, that job? Is it that relationship? Wherever it is in your life, is it a friendship? Whatever it is, whatever you're sort of repressing that inner voice around, my hope is that this message inspires you, triggers you to start questioning whether you're being selfish in your own little childish fears, and maybe you need to break through to a meta perspective about what's best for the situation and the people in it, including yourself, and be more selfish in terms of following your truth, listening to your truth despite the fears and objections in the external world. So I hope that this is resonating, and I just want to check in with you guys as well who've joined me, who've made comments. Awesome. And Jonathan, nice to have you, my friend. And Joel and Jamantis, and Elf, lovely to have you. And yes, Elliot, sounds a bit like codependency. Definitely. And what I was actually talking into with this client today, thanks for that comment, Elliot, it was Stephen Covey's model, which is all about going from a codependence to independence to interdependence. And this is a really great framework when we look at the health of our relationships and the evolution of our relationships. So we can often be in that codependency, you know, where we're relying on each other to make each other happy. And, you know, we often start our relationships like this. We want them doing everything with us. We're so obsessed with them, you know, this new incredible human being who's entered our lives. And we can tend to get into this codependency, which becomes really unhealthy. And it's sort of like, I've had it explained to me years ago when I was transitioning out of a codependent relationship by a psychologist that I had a session with. And it was such a valuable lesson she taught, which was, you know, picture like two circles, two individuals, two circles, right? And when you're in codependency, it's like that those two circles become one, and it's just one circle overlapping the other. And that's codependency. And then when we shift out of independence, because we recognize we've lost ourselves in our relationships, and we need to get ourselves, re-find ourselves again, we shift into this independence where there's no overlap. We're just two separate individuals. And ultimately, our evolution, if we can grow as individuals to a place where, from a place of strength, that we want to invite somebody else into our relationships in order to make our lives that little bit extra better, rather than needing each other in the codependent stage, we get to a point where those circles intertwine and overlap for that section in the middle, which is ultimately the third entity, which is the relationship. And that is where we create real health in the quality of our relationships. So I hope that's valuable. Awesome book, Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Brilliant book. So I really encourage you guys, if you haven't already, to reach out and grab that book and go read it. It's phenomenal. So thank you for your comments there, Elliot. And Jamie, nice to have you. And Elf, yes, thank you so much for your kind words as always. Love them. And Gajit, nice to have you. Joseph, thank you so much. And Michael and Manan, awesome. I love that this is resonating with you guys. And Shabudan, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. And Jamie, and yes. Just flicking through all your comments here. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. And awesome to have you back, Superman. Love it. And Mohammed and Brian. Yes, Brian, love how today's topic ties into the one you did last week about how being authentic leads to freedom. Yeah, awesome. I love that you're seeing the patterns here. Ultimately, you know, everything that I teach and everything that I talk into that I'm so super passionate about is all in relation to that freedom and fulfillment. That's what I believe we're all wanting to get to, a real sense of freedom to be fully expressive of all of who we are and love and be loved, and also fulfillment, you know, that sense of growth, progress, and definitely contribution, like our lives matter. So yeah, there's always going to be those underlying themes. And yes, I love that, Elliot. A healthy relationship is win-win. Codependency is win-lose. Wow, that's such a great, I love that you just said that, Elliot. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom. I love thinking about it like that. That's awesome. And it's so true, because in that healthy dynamic of interdependence, we play to each other's strengths. You know, we encourage our differences. We respect and love our differences, because we can recognize that we have different strengths and we bring different things to the relationship. And that's how we can create win-wins for each other. And like you're saying, Elliot, with that codependency, someone's got to win and somebody's got to lose. There's always got to be a winner or a loser. It's a constant battle. And that's why, yeah, I love how you've termed that, Elliot. Awesome. And yes, and Bren, thank you so much for joining me. Awesome to have you. So guys, really that was my message to you guys today. I wanted to just, you know, remind you that there's selfishness that serves, and that is always tapping into the truth of who you are and moving forward with courage in that alignment. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's going to be best for you and best for all of the people who love you and you want in your life. So never ever put your best intentions of tapping into the emotions and responses of others, those people that you love and care about, never, I mean, that is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. But when you're aware of it, you can keep it as a strength, but not at the expense of your truth. Don't filter the right decisions that you know to be true, to be in alignment with you, through your perception of the reaction of those people closest to you. That ultimately is always going to be a losing game, a losing battle. And that is not what life is about. Life is about breaking free of those patterns. Life is about tapping more fully into our truth and our strength and our courage, and moving forward to really ultimately reach that next level of our potential. And it doesn't have to be at the expense of others. So stop thinking that you living in your truth has to be at the expense of others. Stop being selfish and keeping other people stuck in relationship where you can't give them what they want and you know it. So let them free. Let them go and do what they need to do. Discover the person who can be there for them to create, ideally, an interdependent, healthy relationship. And you go on your journey. And I'm a true, thorough believer that, relationship breakdown doesn't mean failure. I don't believe that we necessarily have to meet this one person in our life and we're going to the end of life with them. If that works out for you, brilliant. If you have a truly fulfilling, exciting, energized relationship with that individual, I love it. That's amazing. But I'm a big believer in never, ever, ever settling at the expense of our own truth, and breaking free with courage to tap into that truth and move forward, taking the lessons with you. There is no such thing as failure. So I hope that this has been valuable to you guys. And last little check-in with you guys. Piero, thank you for joining me. And Michelle, love that this is resonating. And thank you so much for those kind words. Elliot, appreciate you. And Lisa, wonderful reminder that we need to blossom on our own and create a relationship that builds you up and helps you become the best you. I love that, Lisa. Awesome, awesome, inspiring words, because that at the end of the day is what relationship is all about. It is there to both support and challenge us to become the best versions of ourselves we can be. And it's not in competition. It's not that, like Elliot, you mentioned, that win-lose battle between that codependent relationship, and even in the independent stage where there's that competition. No, the greatest quality of relationship is one where we have found a partner who is willing to grow with us, to contribute with us, to both, like I said, support and challenge the best from us. So I love your comments there, Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing. And Mine, thank you for joining me. And Joji, thank you so much for joining me. I'm grateful that this has resonated. So guys, that's it from me today. That was my message. I hope that it's triggered something within you today. And you're going to have a look at what filters you're putting over your truth. Who are the filters in your life? Who are you placing the power in? There's external forces or people. Who are you filtering your truth through, and how are you going to step up and own it with courage? Start stepping into the truth of who you are, aligning with that, knowing that that is how you give your gifts to the world. You show up and be the best human being that you can be, despite the repercussions and the the hurt that you might create in this moment. Is so small in comparison to the hurt that you create and the damage that you can do by not being true to yourself and sharing that with others and aligning with that. So awesome to have you guys, and same to you, Moises. Thank you so much. And yes. Okay. All right. Awesome, guys. That's it from me today. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I'm sending you all of my love, light, gratitude, blessings, energy, everything, wherever you are in the world. I'm excited to have you guys here as always, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. So make sure that you let me know any questions you want me to cover in any upcoming Facebook Lives. I really love answering your questions. And definitely, if you haven't already, jump on a 15-minute power session with me. I'd love to meet you wherever you are in the world. It's exciting to me. I love helping people break through, see a new perspective, and overcome their challenges. So I love that. I'd love to meet you. So definitely book that in, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow.